Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Marchello Currence. Up in this, it's been a while since I did, to be very honest, Christian videos. Because I would not totally make a per se Christian video or say it's a Christian video if I'm not totally devoted to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's good to talk to people when your life is not totally lined up with God, but I feel that if you're gonna have any kind of platform that's really for the Lord, then your life should be devoted to God to be effective. It's all about being effective. You know what I'm saying? Because soon as somebody find out that as of the time that you're making the videos that your life is not in the proper place with God, then you're not going to be effective to that person. And spiritually speaking, the power that you have, the power is locked up. You know what I'm saying? You have plenty saints that backslide, you know what I'm saying? And the power is within them. But you can't pull it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure when David was doing everything he was doing, when it came to Bathsheba and all that, he probably the power was within. It wasn't without. It wasn't outwardly, it was inwardly. You know what I'm saying? And when it's like that, that's to get you the power that God is on you. He's protecting you. What you have is to at that point to get you back where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to minister, not trying to talk to other people. You know what I'm saying? You can still talk to other people, but I'm talking about being effective. I'm talking about actually breaking spiritual chains off of people. And it's obvious to a Christian you can't do that if you have some chains on yourself. It's just an obvious thing. It's just like people being in prison and you on the outside. You know what I'm saying? You in the inside. Y'all all locked up. You feel me? Y'all all locked up. You have no more power to get them out. But if you with God's people, you got a tank. You can go roll down the whole prison and bust through the walls with the tanks and pull people out and things like that. But if you in a cell, you in one of Satan's cells too, then you're not going. You can still talk to people. You feel me? Just like you talk to people when you're in prison, but you can't totally get them out of that prison they in. You can't totally free. You can't free them from all the strongholds that they have. You know what I'm saying? And then when their brain finds out that you're just as locked up as they are, then you're not. Then their brain is not going to allow you to be effective to them. That's what you got to look at. So that just kind of covers me being MIA, because I used to minister on YouTube back when it first came out in 2007. I had hundreds of thousands of views. You know what I mean? I was doing this before people even knew what YouTube was. When I was ministering on YouTube, I would say 40% of my family didn't even know what YouTube was. That's how, when it first came out, that's how everybody was. Everybody's family didn't 100% know what YouTube was. So I was ministering on YouTube before they started doing commercials, started doing all these sporting events, having all their logos everywhere. Way before that, I was ministering on YouTube when it first came out. And I built me a computer. I built me a hard drive. I put a hard drive in the computer, and I used to have the webcams, because back at that time, you couldn't use your phone to upload videos on YouTube, you had to have a computer and you had to have a webcam. See, people don't remember that. That's OG to like young people. Y'all don't remember that. Like early 20s and stuff, y'all don't remember that. If you do, you was young and it was irrelevant to you, probably, most likely. You know, I remember when you couldn't use a phone to upload videos on YouTube. So that's where I come from. You know, I used to minister all about everything, about the mark of the beast way back then in 2007. I was already on that. I was ministering about just the real things, the spiritual things, man, the real powerful things that we all hunger for, the meat of the word, those things, you know. And you know, and I came to a point where, you know, I realized, okay, my life is not lining up with what I'm ministering at this point. I wasn't doing both of it at the same time. I came to a place where I went through a divorce, and you know, I still kept my walk with the Lord at that time. You know, that's how I made the videos. I made the videos after my divorce. But I just started working. I was working at the hospital, and I just, you know, I just got sidetracked. I just got sidetracked with the world, you know, and before you know it, an old girlfriend came into my life, and I started back smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, you know what I'm saying, I just got back into my old ways. Because when I was a kid, when I was young, I started selling crack when I was like late 15 to 16 years old. And I don't know why in the American community people say that's not something you should tell people. I mean, I don't understand that. That gives people an idea of who you are and where you come from. You know what I'm saying? I started selling crack at 15, 16. I was robbed 2 times by the time I was 16. I caught my first charge when I was 16 years old. And that could have been a felony, but I think the judge just had mercy on me because I was 16. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand that. And the effect that a felony can have on a 16-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? You're done before you even start trying. You know what I'm saying? By the time you're a man, 18, you got a felony, and they want them to understand why you got a felony at 16. That makes it worse, not better. They be like, dang, you got a felony, you 16? You know, but I was doing felony crimes. I mean, like I told you, you know, selling crack, 16, that's felonies, man. That's no misdemeanor. That's crack cocaine. You know, and then I received the Lord when I was 18. Also, I was shooting guns around that time too. 15, 16, I was already shooting guns, man. I was already working on getting guns. I had money in my hand planning on getting guns, going to places to get guns. You know, that's what separates me from other people. I don't know about other people, but I know about me. You know, I made actions towards what I was talking about, basically. You know, but I never got caught selling crack, which was a great thing, because then I would have really got caught up in just everything. It just seemed like when you catch a charge selling crack, it just seems like then that person just gets deeper. You know, I think the fact that I didn't catch a charge, I never got caught selling crack, I think that kept me out it obviously kept me out the system, but I think that kept me from really just being submerged in that lifestyle. But I received Christ when I was 18, which was the greatest beautiful feat I could ever have, because I gave God the last 2 teenage years of my life. I mean, I was a teenager on fire for God. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about going to church, putting on some suit, you know what I'm saying? Look, your family patting you on your back, your auntie patting you on your back, you know what I'm saying? That kind of Christianity. I'm talking about, man, I didn't even really go to church. I just was seeking the Lord, fasting like crazy. I remember my first fast. I had a I drunk nothing but Kool-Aid. That's all I did. I couldn't go without total food and everything. The whole day, I had never went hungry like that in my life. You know what I'm saying? My family have lived in ghetto situations, but I've never went without food for a whole day. You know what I'm saying? I had hardworking people around me. So not rich but hardworking. That's the difference. Because sometimes people think, well, you ain't never really been through nothing. You ain't never. Nah, I just had hard workers around me. You know what I'm saying? They lived in the ghetto, just like the next man did, or has, or is living in now. But they were hard workers. My family were hard workers. So basically, I came to Christ when I was 18. You know what I'm saying? I gave him my last 2 years of my teenage life. And I just, like I said, I was on fire for God, man. Praying, seeking the Lord, worship. By the next year, I got saved August 1999. By March 2000, I was baptized in the Holy Ghost. I remember singing a song at my grandmother's kitchen table, and just the song. Then I just started speaking in tongues. I started speaking in the spirit, and I remember I rode a bike. I was so excited. I rode a bike to my mom's house, and I said, "Mom, I was speaking in a Jamaican language." I didn't even. That's how innocent I was. I had not even got into Christian TV. Like I said, church. That's how I know it's real. I didn't get this from nobody. I didn't have nobody say, "Well, you gonna try to speak in tongues, try to tarry for it." Some denominations teach you to tarry for the tongues, and I didn't go through any of that. I was just singing a song, and it took over. And I remember that was like an hour solid experience, man. Sweating out, because my grandmother had like this chandelier like type light above her table. So I was sitting there like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, praying in the Holy Ghost. It was 2 other people in the house. I didn't care, man. I did not care. It was a great experience, and I didn't care. So that was March 2000. So you do the math on that. That was 21 years ago since I've been baptized in the Holy Ghost. So, that was basic. That's basically my beginning. And I went to 18, 19, 20. I went to Los Angeles as a Christian, not doing any wrong. I went to Los Angeles December 2001, and I was 20 years old. Went out there to the West Coast, and I just breezed through Los Angeles for like a couple months because I got caught up in a situation where I couldn't work. At that time, I still wanted to go out and do stuff and things like that. And I went to the Dream Center in Los Angeles. Y'all in California know what I'm talking about. I went to the Dream Center. I'm originally from North Carolina, so it was a big step. I went from North Carolina to Los Angeles. Went to the Dream Center. And it was this big, huge. It was a huge hospital from the 60s, from the 1960s, that they converted into this big Christian mega facility for people that's basically like a rehab, because they wouldn't let you go out at that time. They wouldn't let you go out. They didn't want you to be, and which I understand, it's Los Angeles. They didn't want you to go back out into the environments and be around the friends, and you trying to go back and forth, and you got too many pitfalls. You know what I'm saying? Old beefs, old situations. You might be trying to get your life back together. I would think in that situation, and you might have somebody, want to smoke or something like that for no reason. I mean, well, for old stuff, but then maybe not. It could be, all kind of stuff, and then you go back into your old ways of doing things, and so in various ways, in different ways. So I understood that, but I was like, well, at the time I didn't. I was only 20 years old. I was just like, but now I understand it. I let it, I had to leave. So I went in Los Angeles, I went from the Dream Center to the Salvation Army, which was like, it wasn't culture shock. I was street people. I don't have a problem with street people. That's all it was. And, I befriended a couple Christians there, and that was a pretty decent experience. But they closed February of that year. I came there December 2001 in Los Angeles. Wound up going to the Salvation Army in January 2001. By February, they were closing it, like totally, like out of nowhere, man. Like it was weird. It was weird. But anyway, I had a plan of going to Seattle anyway. That was always, I feel, like my promised land. That's where I wanted to be. I just chose it. Just like almost like a coin toss. I just chose Seattle. And so when they closed that Salvation Army and that was meant for LA people, I just shot up to Seattle. And I did a year up there, got into a missionary, got into like a Christian discipleship program. I used to feed the homeless, clothe the homeless myself. That was my responsibility as a 21-year-old kid. I was feeding the homeless because I was living there, living in the shelter. But then I had a Pacific, they gave me a Pacific position to clothe the homeless, sit them down in the sanctuary. They listen to music. I put the gospel music on and hand them clothes. That's what I used to do. Yep. So, and we used to minister out in the streets at night. Like that ministry was radical, man. That's like, we used to minister out on the streets at nighttime, man. That was them real Christians, man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't for show, obviously, at nighttime. That's where I come from, man. You know what I'm saying? That's part of my foundation. We was out there at night, man. Anything could have happened. We didn't have any arms or anything. You know what I'm saying? Anything could have happened. This is Seattle. That's not necessarily a city to sleep on, because you got the whole West Coast fluctuating through Seattle too. You got to remember that. It's people from LA up there. I've heard stories of stuff that happened to people. You know what I'm saying? From dudes from California up in Seattle. So, but we were out on the street, man. We was out in the streets, 11, 12, man, about that life for real. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they was trying to see if I was about that life, but man, that was my cup of tea. That was right up my alley, man. Going out, young man, going out there, you know what I'm saying? Mind you, my background, so that was my cup of tea, man. That was like I said, right up my alley. I'm going out there ministering to people and everything late at night. I loved that, man. And I was the only kid too, so I didn't have no irritating person or young guys my age around acting silly, I didn't have none of that. I had all mature men, which made it better because I was just soaking up that maturity and then I'm telling you, man, it was great. I give you stories more on those adventures, man, because but I don't have the time on because these videos I'm doing now, it's not live. It's up to my phone. My phone can go like to 20 something minutes. But yeah, basically that's what it was. That was my start. I was always trying to do music because that's what I do. So I was doing Christian rap. That's what people call it, but I don't have a problem when people say I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper that's a Christian. I don't have a problem with that because I understand that. It's like not putting the label on it. I am a Christian. Definitely. I didn't necessarily use that term all the time, but I can understand it because it means that I'm using my gift as a Christian. I am rapping as a Christian. I'm not a Christian rapper, like a gospel rapper. You know what I'm saying? Because that aspect puts this boundary on it. It does. It does. Of what you can actually talk about sometimes with some people, some Christian record labels. I think that's why I never got signed because I mean my stuff was never boxed in. You know what I'm saying? I talked about real stuff. You know my background, so this all happened. That stuff I did when I was a kid, obviously selling crack when I was a teenager and all that. That happened before I was a Christian, so I couldn't go backwards per se as far as my perspective on things in the world. So when you think about me rapping then, how could I not put certain things or talk about certain things in there? I'm talking about it from a spiritual perspective when I do it. But some people just don't get that, man. They don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And it's necessary. People say, well, it's not going to be effective. It really is because some people think, man, they don't want a bad message. They just want something to feed their soul, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially people locked up. They want something positive. You know what I'm saying? Rap music for people that's locked up these days, how do they even relate to that? You talking about balling and hustling and everything like that? Females. How can somebody locked up relate to that? Then somebody that's rapping that's a Christian, they talking about spirituality, the need of the Lord, life, all these things, and you working out thinking about it. That person's working out thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? So it's necessary. It's definitely an audience for it, man. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta think about the whole world. You can't be thinking about people that's just already listening to rap music. That's what people think about. Oh, well, how's this gonna reach them and they listen to this? They not the only people. These people that's out there listening to this rap music, trap and stuff and all that, they not the only audience. You know what I'm saying? They are not the only people. That's the only thing people think about, comparing it to them. Like they the only audience, like, well, they gonna think that's whack. They who? You got some people that don't even like the new music that's out. And it's been like that for 10, 15 years. And they rather have something old school or positive, because that's what rap was to them when it first came out. You got them type of people, and then you might raise up a world changer preacher out of that because you did what you needed to do as far as your music, and you reached back to an old school dude who didn't feel none of this stuff that's going on, and he became one of the greatest preachers in the world. You can't limit yourself to the audience when it comes to this rap. You can't limit yourself. Say, well, it ain't gonna be effective. You're trying to reach as many people as possible. You gotta do you. You might reach a world changer that changed the whole country because you stuck to what you was doing. Instead of thinking, well, I can't reach these young kids. You might not. Your whole ministry might be of your whole rap music might be for that one person, man, that's changing everything. You got to look at it like that instead of trying to always minister to these kids. And then rap, now so many people listen to it. You got older audiences, people in their 30-something, 30-somethings, 40-somethings. You got them out there now. So don't limit yourself to this one little audience that's listening to this present day music. You know what I'm saying? All right, I'm gonna come back because I got more to say, and it's not gonna all fit in this video. All right, peace.